I'm going to introduce you to somebody cute right now. Let's talk about courses again. Sylvie started us off excellent. Let's talk about a little further. Probably you have taken a lot of courses, at least a few. You probably bought a few courses that are still sitting unopened or haunting your inbox. Or maybe, just maybe you tried creating your own courses and then ended up like in a rage, quitting somewhere between module 2 and module 3. Does that kind of sound familiar? Been there, done that. Well, deep breath. Help has arrived in this beautiful form we call Dr. Catrina Mitchum. And she's a course creator, fairy godmother. She's a superpower. She's my superstar. Equal parts nerd, strategist, straight shooter, just like me. That's why probably we get along. She's been designing courses since 2009, even before Zoom was a thing. Zoom was just a sound effect at that time. She's the founder of Catrina Mitchum Learning Design. And she's a contributor to our very own Savvy Solopreneur. Her article is really brilliant, you guys. You need to take a look. My podcast episode with Catrina is going to be releasing, I think, the upcoming week or the week after. Keep an eye out on that. I think you're subscribed to my channel where you can hear more about Catrina, more from Catrina. She's got her own YouTube channel too, where I hog every now and then because there's way too much, spoiler alert, joke bombs. You just take one look at her her YouTube channel, and you'll get the kind of personality she is. Her talk today is about making course creation easy with course maps. And look, there's a lot of shit advice out there, okay? And most of it is like hype, no help. Katrina is going to change that. She's going to show you what a course map is, why it saves you number of hours, chaos, and all that extra caffeine that you're ingesting, and how to make your learners actually learn something instead of just zoning out by video 3. So pull out your notebooks, say hello to our new favorite course whisperer. That's a new thing I'm calling her. Let's give it up all to the fun, genius, Dr. Catrina Mitchum. Take it away.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Summer. I've been debating calling myself the course doctor, actually. So I'm going to float that out here and see how it goes. To answer the question in the chat, I am not related to Robert Mitchum. Hi, everybody. I am going to actually drop a link in the chat because I created slides because a lot of folks like to have a visual, but I don't like to hijack the screen for a lot of different reasons. But for accessibility purposes, this link in the chat is to the slides that are going to keep us on track in under 20 minutes. So I am Catrina Mitchum, and I am a recovering academic. And I use the things that drove me to get into higher education, like breaking down gates for learners so that they could reach the change that they're going for. I use that now to help service-based business create courses like they give a shit about their clients' outcomes, and really focusing on creating things that aren't just completable, they are achievable, right? So we're not just doing checkboxes. Oh no, the free link gift is not working. Okay, Danielle, thank you for letting me know that. When I'm done, I will make sure that I didn't like have a typo in there. That's probably the case. Copy and paste error, you know. Okay, so before I really kind of get started, I want to know in the chat where you are in that course creation process. So you can tell me you've got one if you already have it. You want one if it's kind of been on that to-do list. You have started one, or you're just here for the networking and you don't actually care what I have to say. Okay, we've got some in development. Some folks have one. All right. Have one, want one. Okay, so we're kind of all across the board. Cool. My second question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I've got this, I don't need you, and 10 being, I might give up, how overwhelmed do you feel about the prospect of either creating that course or fixing that course if you have one and it's just like not quite right? Okay. Oh, all across the board. 3, 9, 4. More 3s, a 10, a 9. Okay, well, don't give up. Okay, thank you. This just helps me get an idea of kind of who's in here and how things might need to shift. We're all across the board, really, so we're just going to go with an overall view. So our agenda today is I am going to cover what exactly a course map is, because I recognize it's a term that I'm using that's not kind of in the online business world, why you should have one in order to help save yourself some time and energy, and how you can start building one. And I'm going to start out by saying there is no like fast and dirty, right? This is, you can build a course map that fits you and what's going to work for you. The course map is kind of a solution to all of that shitty advice that's out there that says either you should build it before you sell it so you know what you're selling. Yes, ethical, but exhausting. And then the other end of the spectrum is, but you should sell it before you build it. And a lot of folks have ethical concerns with that because they don't know what they're selling and they're selling this thing. So we're going to use the course map to kind of get around that as well. So first, what is a course map? And if you are following along on the slides, I am on slide 5. So what the heck is it? We are going to use the course map because it's an instructional design tool. And instructional design is actually a field in education. And it is a tool that gives you kind of that high level forest when you can't see through the trees, right? It shows you exactly what that big picture is, so you aren't getting lost in those details. It's also flexible, right? So you are creating yourself a flexible framework that can shift and evolve and pivot as your course does. And so it's a really useful thing for getting ready to have a course. Yes, so I was on slide 5, getting ready to go to slide 6. So I am going to show you a few examples because there are lots of different ways that you can do course maps. I'm only going to show you 2.
I don't see your slides. Is that only me?
No. So I have put, oops, hold on. I'm pressing things I shouldn't be pressing. I had put the slides in the chat because I am not going to hijack the screen. I'm going to put it. Oh, thanks, Summer. I was going to copy it. And for the recording, Summer, I'll make sure that you have it so we can put it in the description as well.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay.
So the chat will be covered with a lot of other things. So I'll keep putting it. So don't worry about it.
Thank you, Summer. So some examples. This I am going to hijack your screen for because there's really not a very good way to show you. In the slides, I did take some screenshots, and those are in slides 7 and 8. But I am going to switch to this one. Okay. So don't get overwhelmed. This is my own course map. It's partially finished for a program. And I personally like visuals. I like to map things out. This thing was a complete and total mess. I had pieces and parts everywhere. I have started to pull things together. I'm going to move in just a little bit to show you this is Course Maker. I've drawn lines out to my Getting Started module, out to module 1. I have separated out my lessons. In these, I have very specific things that I like to include. And so I like to put about how much time I think it might take. And then I outline the tasks that I'm going to have them do, why I'm having them do those things. And then I create myself a little to-do list. And then for me, because the way that my course is it kind of takes folks in at any point in the process. I have, some stepping stone quizzes that will help you figure out where you actually need to go next in all of the materials. So this visual option, and it could be organized anyway, right? I have it kind of chronologically going this way, but you could also chronologically do it up and down. The other option that I like to show people, and it's definitely not an end all be all list. Yeah, I love Miro too, Badu, but you can do things like this on any kind of digital whiteboard. Canva has one too in their free version that you can use. Miro has, you can do up to 3 free ones. I also have clients that just like sticky notes. And so they put sticky notes up and snap a photo. They do eventually make it digital, but like that initial brainstorming piece where they're trying to move things around and really see that learning journey, because that's really the goal here, right? Being able to see the whole learning journey. They can do that. You can do that handwritten. You can do that in Post-it notes. Okay, so the other version I'm going to show you, and this one is also incomplete because these are just ones I use as samples, is a table. And so this has basically the same information that the visual one did, but it's, if the thought of sprawling visuals makes your eye twitch, then something like a table might be better. So here again, I have the lessons or the big steps that they're taking. So this is for a course on making videos, right? So they're doing planning, the tasks that I'm having them do, the content that I'm having support the tasks, and then why I'm having them do the task and, consume that content. Okay, so those are just 2 examples. I don't know that the screenshots are very good in the slides, but hopefully those are there in case you want to see them as well. So now that you kind of see what I mean by course map, and course map is different from a course outline, right? So an outline tends to be very linear, and these are the steps. These are just the steps. Whereas a course map functions more as a guide, both for you and for them. And so there are so many more things that you can include, and it can function as like a bigger piece of doing this whole course creation process. So does anybody have a course map already? No. Okay. Oh, Tim does. Great. Tim, do you mind sharing kind of like what is included? Of course you do, Sylvie. What you have in there?
Yeah. I say what I do, a lot of it is customized to what the client needs me to do with in-house training, depending on what systems they have. So in short, I use it to plan, note what they say they've got, what they've actually got, and what they'd like, and then it kind of forward plans the whole of I can work out how long it should take realistically.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that is exactly it. So the course map, if you already have a course, and we do have a few folks in here that do, if you already have one, it is the perfect tool for seeing what you have and where you have it, right? So sometimes people don't finish our courses because we're being too repetitive, or we're not repeating in ways that are useful. And so it can help you see those repetitions. It can help you see those gaps. And so if you already have a course, you should do a course map. Even if your course is going well, you should do a course map, because it will help you see those spots, right? Those pain points that they had in getting through and getting what they need out of your course. Okay, so this is another question to the room. How does everybody like to organize complex information? Do you like to do visuals, tables, like I just showed you, Post-its, which I already mentioned, hand drawings, any other ways that you like organizing complex information? Because that is, when you're going to make a course map, that's the first thing that you should decide. This is going to be complex, right? And so while course maps make the course process easy, it may not necessarily be easy in and of itself, because it is your brain and you're trying to work through showing someone else the thought process you have in the learning design. Ooh, somebody said bullet points. That's a good one too, right? Because it makes it very digestible. Notebook and pen, that's perfectly fine. Once you decide how you like to organize complex information, then you can kind of get started. Before we get started with the how, though, I want to make sure that we're really good on the why. And so if you are following along, we are on slide 11. So why will this save you time and energy? It shows you how things are connected, right? And so one of the things that Sylvie talked about earlier was the importance of connection, but that's not just between people. That is between concepts and ideas, because if you're not giving them guidance on how to get from one point to the next and how those things work together, they're not going to see the point, right? Like if you've ever had something that you felt like was busy work in a course, I guarantee it's because they didn't explain why, right? Why those things are connected and working together. It helps you identify challenges and gaps. If you're building it, it's before they become a problem. And if you already have a course, it's when you know there's a problem and you can't quite pinpoint what it is. It can give you a realistic schedule. Like when you see the mass that is your course, or that what your course might become, it really helps you rein in your expectations on what they can get done in the amount of time you think that it's going to take them. It also gives you flexibility as you are building your course. So I always recommend running a beta test, and you can run a beta test with just a course map, right? Because it's giving you the things that you need to do. Yes, scope creep, exactly, Beth. And a course map can help you with that. It can help you see if you have too much and you need to break it into multiple courses, right? Because you have that umbrella. And it can help you pivot. And I think that's the thing that, when you build a course, if you build it before you're trying to sell it, you haven't had real people trying it out. You've put all that time and energy and effort into making this thing, right, that you love because you're helping people. But there are things that aren't working or that you thought that they needed, but they didn't actually need. I have an example of a time that happened. Was I used to hold like office hours where it was in Zoom. Nobody showed up. And so that was an easy cut for me, like it was something I could very easily cut out and adjust and support in other different ways. But having that course map meant I could see, oh, okay, well, they didn't show up to this, but here is a spot where I could offer support in a different way. And so I was very quickly able to pivot. And so what it does is it makes it so that your eye isn't twitching if you're not building it before you sell it. And you feel good about knowing exactly what you're selling, right? Because you can see it. So I think I've gone over the ways to use it preemptively, but I'm on slide 12. So you can use it to audit a course that already exists, to test ideas on the market. I'm a big believer in build your map and then start asking people, if you were to take a course on XYZ, would you expect it to have this? Is this an outcome that you might want to have? Would you be interested in tasks that help you do this? You can sell it with a plan, right? So you can feel ethical about selling this thing, shift as you test, make it your own, and ground it in good learning design. And I'm going to get to that when I get to the how pieces. So the how of the course map assumes a few things. We're assuming that you have a focus topic, that you have concrete goals for the course, and that you've outlined the steps and tasks that they need to take. If you don't have a focus topic, that is what the freebie, want to fix the link? That's what the freebie is for. The freebie is a course creation jumpstart, is going to help you get from, I have a million ideas, or I want to recreate my exact one-on-one, to something that's really focused, and that can be a course. If you don't have concrete goals or an outline for the steps, that's what the VIP is for. So my VIP gift is a course maker guide, and that walks you through creating goals and working backwards from those goals to the actual steps and tasks that they will need to do in your course. Okay, so the moment we have all been waiting for the last 15 minutes, how do I make a course map? So the must-have pieces, and I don't like to should people, but you should have tasks listed in your course map. And that's because if we want them to actually learn something, we have to actually have them do something. So all day today, we've been talking about taking action and making sure that we're applying things. And we start with the tasks instead of the content so we don't get wrapped up in ourselves, right? When we're thinking about structuring a course around content, we often think about, I need to tell them what I know, instead of, I need to help them do the things that will get them to the goal that they came to me to reach. So tasks or activities or however you want to call it, you need tasks. The second must-have is supporting content. And so you do need the content, but the content should always support the action. It should always be the things that they need to know. Remember, they don't want to be an expert like you, or maybe they do, but not yet. They're not there yet. And so you just give them the content that they need when they need it. It's all about the right timing, which, I feel like we didn't work together on our presentations, but I feel like we're all connecting, right? The third thing is the whys. And this is the transparency that you're going to provide for why you're having them do all of those things that you're asking them to do. So my next question, I think this might be my last question for the group. What is one key task that you know that your clients need to do in your course? Reflect. Ooh, that's a good one. Everybody should be having their clients reflect, no matter what they're learning. That's a good one. Listening, creating emotional space. Creating a course map. Yes, Sylvie. What yours is creating a course map? Okay, these are good. You have your first task for your course map. Not looking at their phones. Yes, so Tim has 2 tasks. Mapping their own journey. Perfect. Okay. So I think you get the idea with having them do the action first, giving them the content, giving them the whys. The next piece of creating the course map is all about you. It gets to be all about you. So you get to decide what else you need in the course map to make it be a tool that is easy for you. So you can ask yourself questions like, what type and how much support does your client need? But also, what kind of support do you need? So if you have a course where I am not an email marketer, but in my course, I have some stuff on email marketing. And so I might pull in a colleague that I have who specializes in email marketing, or I might give resources to, okay, if you want to learn more about email marketing, it's not something that I specialize in, but here's some resources. And so these are things that can support you as a creator so you don't feel like you have to literally do it all. Another thing that you can include is a to-do list. I'd like to put these on my course maps because I live and die by a to-do list. Accessibility. I've already baked that into my process, but if you haven't started building in, like looking for alt text and captioning, those are things that you can add in as part of your, I need to make sure I do this accessibility thing in different parts. Connections, add-ons, and then your own style and preferences. So course maps should have certain things, but they really are intended to be a tool to help you as you are building with and for your clients for this course. And that is it. That's how you make a course map. That's why, and that's what one is. So in the slides, I do have a couple of links. I'm going to double check that course creation jumpstart link just to make sure that it's a user error. And then the course maker guide is linked here. It is my low ticket offer, but if you buy the VIP, then you will get it from Summer as part of your VIP package. And then if you just don't know where the heck to start, I also have a free 15-minute consultation in there too.
You are amazing and generous. Questions, comments. This was valuable and funny in the right places. I think it's just
I miss my calling as a stand-up comedian.
Okay, no, stay on course creations. Questions and comments, you guys.